Hello, I am Donnie, and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea, and I am the cute one.
TGIF, cuties.
Happy Friday.
A week from today, you can spend all the money you've ever had in your savings on whatever you want. Black Friday, Chelsea. It's Black Friday.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
1 week. I already started making my list, checking them twice.
In 1 week, you can fist fight over a toaster in Walmart.
Well, if you still do that to this day, get a life, because why are you there? Just go online.
I think that people that go in person, they are looking for a fight. I feel like they just need to feel something. You know, they need to feel alive.
Sometimes you just got to punch a mom in the mouth over a Tickle Me Elmo.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes the universe calls for that. Well, before Black Friday is Thanksgiving, and as you know, I'm hosting this year. So we're 1 week out, and you've traveled with me. You know my overall vibe. What I lack in things like plans or recipes or ability to cook or anything that has to do with logistics, I make up for with a can-do attitude, good vibes, and obscure decorations. And I did say that I was not going to decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, but the Thanksgiving decor in my home is escalating quickly.
So what?
Well, I've gone with a disco motif. So I have disco balls hanging on the ceiling of pretty much my entire kitchen, over the mantle, in the windows. So there's just a glistening glow everywhere you look. There are Christmas lights hanging, but no tree. And that's where I draw the line.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. It's like if Macy's decorated their windows for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But luckily, my family does know me, so we will have food on the table. Dr. Bald has been coordinating with my sister-in-law, with my parents, and they've got it all sorted out in terms of food. And I'm just in charge of the good vibes, the music, making sure everybody has a drink in their hand, etc. I think it's going to be a jolly good time.
It sounds like it. I wish I could come.
Well, you're invited for Christmas, and I did tell you that Dr. Bald has been on a tear. I made the mistake of saying, hey, I extended an invitation for Christmas to Donnie, and he's like, please have Donnie come.
I would love to, and I would bring like a Mrs. Claus outfit for myself, obviously.
Love that.
But I don't know if I've beat that level of the game yet. And by the game, I mean therapy. I think I still care too much about my family's feelings to put over my own. And I do know they'd be upset if I didn't come home for Christmas, even if I'm sobbing in the bathroom for all of it.
Well, something to think about.
You know what? If they're upset about me not coming home for Christmas, how will they really feel when they find out I'm going to buy a $1 home in Italy? Which Italy is selling. There's this town in Italy, Chelsea, that when I was looking for headlines, I found out about it. I really might buy one because they've been trying to populate their town for so long and nobody wants to move there for whatever reason. I'll look into it before I buy a home in Italy.
I feel like that's the start of a plot of a horror movie, that there's a town in Italy selling houses. They literally can't sell them for cheap enough. They're selling them for $1 to lure the poor, newly divorced American man into their clutches.
No, now they're doing it for $1 because of the election. So they're like, people will populate here now. But if you buy it for $1, it's like truly dilapidated. Rats are like fucking as you open the door, like, hello. But then for, I think, $50,000, you can buy it where like, at least it has walls and a ceiling. But then for $105,000, which is still not bad to buy a home, you get it fully made, like fully ready to move in. I can turn it into an Airbnb tomorrow.
What a price jump, though, from $1 to $50,000.
Yeah, I think the $1 is truly just a plot of land. But if they let me put a tent there, I'll live in Italy.
Buongiorno.
Boys. Yeah, that's good.
What have you been up to? I've been putting disco balls on my ceiling. What have you been up to?
I've been putting my balls all over Nashville. Not really. I tried it in the airport bathroom. I was on Grindr. We found each other at my gate, and then we were like, let's look for a bathroom. But everyone we went to was heavily populated. Yeah,
it is the Nashville airport.
I know. The New York airport bathrooms are so deep. Like, there's stalls like 50 wide. So you could go do some things in there, and no one would ever check. But the Nashville ones only have like 2 toilets, and one is a handicap one that I went in to poop. Once I found that I wasn't going to be doing this extracurricular, I patted him on the back. I was like, nice meeting you. And he left, and then I stayed in the bathroom and pooped.
I'm glad that you were able to get something out of your body in the Nashville airport.
Me too. Now let's talk about the rest of my trip. The Airbnb, Chelsea, you would have acted up. Because...
Was there a rule book?
There was a rule book, and one of them said, I have a noise meter like a noise detector, and if you go over a certain decibel, I will cancel your reservation on the spot and like come to the house and kick you out.
What, are we in Madison Square Garden? We want to see how loud the Swifties get? What the fuck? Oh, you're exactly right, because that is just specific enough that it would have triggered my desire to see how loud I could get that thing.
Yeah. I also wanted to know, like, what does a canceled reservation mean exactly? Like, if we do it at the last thing, like, as we were checking out, I wanted to just scream. And then, so what if I set it off? We're out of here. Do you add extra to it? Because I don't want to do that.
Right. Or does it just cancel the whole reservation and it's like bippity boppity boo, you were never there?
Yeah, free. But now, let's talk about it. So Friday night. Oh, cuties, by the way, I don't know how much of this will make it to the main feed, how much will be on Patreon, but I have a lot to talk about this trip. So I could be talking for upwards of 50 minutes. In which case, if you only hear it on the main feed for 10, I've been cut. I'm on the cutting room floor.
Blame it on our editor, that bitch.
So Friday night, me and like 6 other people were not in the wedding party. And then like the other 6 were. So they went and did wedding stuff, which left all the leftovers to fend for themselves. So that was Friday night and Saturday all during the day. So we went to Broadway, which is like the main strip on Nashville.
Have you been to Nashville?
Never. I loved it. I want to move there.
Of course you do. Nashville is just like Bachelorette Party USA, which is your vibe energetically, I feel like, anyway.
Yeah. I do love Bachelorette energy. I don't love Trump supporters, and I don't love country music. So and I don't love white people. So I thought I wouldn't like Nashville, and that's why I stayed away. But I truly did love it because, yes, they are white Trump supporters who like country music, but I never felt judged.
Yeah, because they're all on their worst behavior too.
Yeah.
So you are not doing anything wrong compared to 16 girls wearing pink cowboy hats who are going to cheat on their husbands.
Well, let me tell you something about girls. They're never the issue. Even if they don't like me, I can get them to like me by the end of the night, homophobic or not. It was the like old men singing like, "Stand by your man." That is who I was afraid of. But even him didn't mind when I sang High School Musical, 2 songs. Now, wait, time out. Before we get there.
Sure.
I famously was the one not even invited to the wedding. And yet, when the leftover group formed, there I was like that boy from Lord of the Flies with a fat kid's head on a stick. Because I surely did say, we're going to do live music, we're going to do karaoke, we're going to do barbecue for dinner, and we're going to do bull riding. And guess what we did? All 4 of those things. Cuties, if you're in the Nashville area, I think it's called like Jimmy Hawthorne's or some shit like that. So good. Okay, so then we went to the Wild Beaver, it was called. And they had bull riding and karaoke, Chelsea, 2 for the price of 1. So first I sang What Would You Do by City High. Crowd pleaser.
Classic. Just a good vibes, happy energy. What would you do if your son was at home crying all alone?
The people wanted to know, so I had to sing it for them. Then when I saw that I got the crowd over, they were happy with that. Then I sang High School Musical 2, the breakup duet. Killed it.
With who? Yourself?
No, there was one girl in the leftover group that wasn't in the thing. The rest were all boys. 2 straight boys, 3 gays, and a black woman.
That's a great combination.
It truly was. Just wait till I made him play Big Brother.
Oh,
so,
no. As I said before, you were living your best life by being the most villainous version of yourself.
We're not even at Chelsea. You know, but the cuties don't even know. This is all just fun stuff. This is all just fun.
So once again, patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne to hear this entire torrid tale because toot toot, buckle up, motherfuckers. We're going to be here for a bumpy ride. Go ahead.
Okay, so at the wedding itself, my table was the leftovers. So that group of 6 that I told you about. And then there were 2 more white gays that weren't there the night before. And then a white gay that invited himself to the wedding because he used to work at Bubba Gump and just happened to be in Nashville. He was like, "What are you all doing tonight?" And we said, "Oh, we're at a wedding." He said, "Can I come?" So then the bride was like, "Sure, why not?"
Well, at least the bride said yes, I suppose.
That was kind of her. So he was at our table too. So we had a table of 9, and I said, this is perfect for Big Brother Express. So then we played Big Brother. Then we went through like 4 rounds where all the white gays were getting picked out. So then we made it to Final 5. Final 5, 4 white gays already out. Me, one other white gay, the 2 straight boys, one of which is Colombian, one of which is ethnic descent. I'm not sure if he's the one I spent my time with the most in that little like Airbnb. He was my like boy roommate. And then the black woman. So the boy that I had my Airbnb with, he was the head of household. And I thought we had an unspoken alliance, Chelsea. This boy had his birthday on Sunday. The wedding was Saturday. I, Donald Hatfield, know what it's like to have your birthday on a wedding weekend. And I do not like it. So I bought his lunch earlier that day. I bought him a shot the night before. I planned on buying him a shot ski that we could take together that night. No, I still did, but with hate
I can
in my
see where
heart.
the story's going. I've played Big Brother Express with you long enough to know the way those eyes go full Gone Girl when someone fucks you over.
They sure went that way because he did fuck me over. Final 5, he was head of household. He put me and the other white gay up. So then the other white gay did a speech about like, I love being in this game, blah, blah, blah. And then I did a speech where I looked in the eyes of the Colombian man, looked in the eyes of the black woman and said, I have a new enemy in the form of Jovi. Once my roommate and closest ally, he is now my biggest target in the house. And you two have the vote of who stays and who goes. And if I am the one to stay, the way this game works is I am automatically the next head of household.
Right.
And he is whose blood I want on my hands. So then they voted the other white gay out. Boop, boop. So then the final 4 is me, Jovi, the one who fucked me over, and then those 2. Then I thought about it and I said, oops. I have to put 2 people up. One is Jovi, but that leaves one more that I just lied to. So then I said, all right, everyone. It's very hard for me to choose which of you I lied to. So instead, I lied to both of you. Jovi, you are safe. And the 2 that just voted the white gay out are on the block.
You are evil.
The final 3 was me, Jovi, and the Colombian man. Named Sergio. I'll give him a name as well.
Sure.
But the point is, I am the single white man, okay? So then, once those speeches started talking about how this game is bigger than us, blah, 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 this can be our chance to have a... to have a Latin winner. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I've lost it. So I was 3rd place. I was out.
Yeah, well, I didn't know all of these demonic details. But you did text our group chat, just made it to final 3 of Big Brother Express. And of course, everybody in our group chat's like, woohoo, way to go. And my question was, who initiated that game? And then I received, and I'll put it on the YouTube, this selfie. So how did poor Jovi fare the rest of his wedding/birthday weekend that he had turned on you?
I still bought him the shot and stuff. He lost 5-2. And I went up to him and said, Jovi, rule number 1, don't fuck with me. So that's that. But then the rest of the night was wonderful.
It looked like a really fun time.
Oh, it was so fun. So it was at a castle, but we were all outside. Like the wedding was outside.
It did not look like you were in Nashville. It looked like you were in like Salem.
Oh, it was so fun and so cool. We had access to the woods, lanterns. So all these bubblegum people were just like making videos, pretending to be like on the Witches Road or Harriet Tubman, if that's what you're into, whatever.
Sure.
That's who I was, at least.
Thank you for clarifying that, Donnie.
I love a lantern as a prop. So we were doing all that, and then one of the bride's family members was like, what's going on in there? And the bride's mother was like, oh, they're her New York friends. They're very theatrical. You did talk about how I was my worst self. So I do want to talk about how I was very loose-lipped. For example, I did tell multiple women about my hair chart and where they stand.
Look at you, a little wobble in your throat as you say that. And for those that are only listening, that's not him tearing up because of his poor choices, regret, shame. No, that's delight. Sheer delight in his eyes and his giggle as he's texting me about these conversations. And I'm horrified because I'm like, certainly that could not go well, that you went up to a short-haired woman and told her your ranking of haircuts and colors. But you do have a superpower. It's like you are a villain that gains strength every time you get away with something. And by the end of the weekend, you were full Magneto.
Yes, this was Saturday night that I told about the hairstyles, whatever. Earlier that day, me and my date, and then Jovi and Kaylee, his girlfriend, the 4 of us went to get coffee, and I decided, you know what? This woman brought me as a wedding date. Let me get her coffee. It's the least I can do. So I ordered mine and then told the barista to a barista's face with this woman right next to me. I'm like, whatever Big Mama wants. I've never called her Big Mama in my life. But now that's how she's saved in my phone. So it went from that to the hair chart to the end of my Nashville trip. This girl in pink cowboy boots and a matching pink denim jacket stood up and tried to, like, while people are getting off the plane, she tried to squeeze past my route. And I said, "Not today, Miss Pink." It just came out of her mouth. But most importantly, from this whole weekend, a beautiful wedding, but my suit.
You looked great.
Thank you. I bought it at Macy's, had the time of my life. But when I was posing sexily and like this, with my maroon suit in front of the woods, I sent it to you and you said, now you're on my Jovi, don't fuck with me list. But in the moment you said, I look like a principal in a CW show.
About witches.
About witches.
Yeah, I sent that immediately. It came to me as you were crouching with your little fuckboy eyebrows. I was like, this is a principal in a CW show about witches. And I stand by it. I guess I'm about to learn why I'm on your Jovi don't fuck with me list. But that was the utmost compliment from me.
No, it is. And in the moment, 7 margaritas deep. 7 margaritas, I'll take a backhanded compliment as a compliment. You called me old.
Well, Donnie, do you think that you would be playing a high school student in a witches
show? No, but why
show?
couldn't be a show about college students? I could play one of them. Put a mullet wig on me, I'll fit right in. This face is baby face. It's just the bald head that throws people off.
Oh, sweet spirit. My sweet angel. I also think that you are meant to play the principal in a CW show about witches because, of course, me and you are us, so it didn't stop there. Then we began planning season by season the plot, and there is going to be a mid-season reveal that you are actually evil.
Yes, I love that.
And that character arc, you were born to play it. Imagine
no, I fully
the
agree.
fuckboy eyebrows go up, and you look out the window and chuckle to yourself menacingly.
Yes, I cannot wait. And then the storyline you turn down, but I'm just going to say it because I'm writing it. I'm the one writing this. So I'm going to put whatever I want on that page.
Whose intellectual property was it? Did you ask my permission?
Did you trademark it?
TM. I just did before you, bitch.
Well, I already wrote the pilot and mailed it to myself, and I'm going to leave it unopened. So what's going to happen is the little coven of girls, they get strong throughout the season. So then the final episode, we can finally fight them and me. But when 2 of them are lesbies and break up in the finale, then there's friction in the group and it breaks, and then that gives me power to win in the end, and that gives me power going into season 2 where they're weaker than me.
Okay, I don't dislike the plot. I think that's a great twist. I love the inclusion. It's the use of lesbies that gives me pause and makes me wonder, will you be treating this storyline with the delicate hands it deserves?
Well, I am a gay teenager, so I know what it's like to be one. So that's number 1. I will treat it delicately. But number 2, just like Ryan Murphy, any vile things I want to say, the D slur perhaps, if I want to talk about her haircut, I'll just put in the script for me, the evil one, to say. So then it's like normalized. Like, oh, that is very jarring to hear a grown man call a teenage girl that, but he is evil.
He's the most evil of all until season 3. And you know what? I'll let you have your lesbies because I put my foot down with the big bad who is your birth mother, Claudia.
I can't wait. That's when me and the lesbies and the other 2 straights have to team up. Well, one can be bisexual. That's cute.
Yeah. And she has a little Twinkie boyfriend.
And he's who I kill first, though.
We've been recording for 35 minutes, so patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for all of that.
But also really quick about that, I think, and cuties, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think we could truly come and talk about stuff like this all day and not get to any headlines or movies. And I still want to be a movie and headline podcast. But like, if I did just talk about Nashville and fake witch shows for a half hour, do you care? Let me know if you do. What if they're like, yeah, get this faggot off my screen, I'm not watching that.
So comment below, YouTube cuties. Let us know. Do you care what we talk about, or are all of us spiraling so much that you just want to hear 2 other people talking, lest you not be alone with your thoughts for a single second?
So go away. I mean, take it away.
This week brought us the Wicked premiere, Jeremy Allen White and Zayn Malik lookalike competitions, a Charlie XCX pop-up concert in Times Square, Denzel Washington making up a gay kiss scene in Gladiator 2, the premiere of Hot Frosty on Netflix, and the trailer for Sabrina Carpenter's Christmas special.
What if Denzel had a gay wet dream about his coworkers and thought it was real, and then he just outed himself?
Either way, it's weird that he gave specifics in that interview about a gay kiss that the director is now saying did not exist.
I'm not at the bottom of this yet. I know we're going to find out more.
Maybe he thought he was filming a scene, but it was just somebody on set giving him a smooch.
Maybe he kissed the director to get the role, and he was normalizing it and saying it was for the movie, it was for the movie. And now the director doesn't want to get outed, so he said, oh, it never happened, you guys. This is whistleblower.
That's like
moment.
when my cousin worked on the set with Kevin Spacey like 15 years ago. And Kevin Spacey was so nice to my cousin David, who is very handsome and was young at the time. He was like, I'm nobody on set. And Kevin Spacey remembers my name, was asking like, oh, I need to try your mom's margarita recipe. All this time, David was like, yeah, he was like kind of creepy, but like it was super cool that he really like makes time for the little guys. It turns out he wasn't making time for all the little guys, just my
the one in your
cousin
pants.
David.
Yeah.
So
my.
I did mention that this week brought us the Wicked premiere, and people have been asking when and how are we going to recap the movie, which is kind of funny because to me, I feel like we've been recapping the movie week by week since, I don't know, like the summer, but can you kind of walk them through our ideas for that?
Sure. So it's officially Wicked Week. You can see it in theaters now. So let me start by saying,
Somewhere that Nashville Airbnb host looked at her volume barometer and screamed. What the fuck was that? The opening to The Lion King?
No, you'll hear it. You are not a theater kid. I'll teach you. Don't worry. So there is a behind-the-scenes special on NBC airing. So I'm going to watch it and then go on Patreon and talk about it. I don't know. You get to hear me talk about behind-the-scenes of what Ariana Grande said. So why you'd listen to me and not Ariana Grande? Not sure, but thank you for your patronage. Then this upcoming Monday, we're covering Wizard of Oz on the main feed with Noor from the Reality Is podcast. And then when I visit Chelsea the weekend of December 7th, we'll be seeing the movie together that morning and then doing a live Instagram show that night.
Perfect.
And that's where we'll cover the movie.
So in conclusion, we will be covering lots of Wicked. It's not stopping anytime soon. So that one angry YouTube comment about how we're regurgitating old headlines, sorry, bitch, we're still talking about it. I want to talk about aliens.
Okay.
So Megan Thee Stallion recently talked about how she doesn't trust the ocean because she believes that's where the aliens reside. And I want to publicly co-sign this claim because shit is going down in the deep, dark ocean. Have you heard about any of this?
No.
Okay, so first of all, a mythical harbinger of doom washed up in California.
What?
Since 1901, only 21 oarfish have been recorded on the California shores, and this is the second one that's washed up this year. So they're these long, creepy fish that usually dwell in the deep ocean, often as far as 3,300 feet below the surface. So they are from like the depths of the ocean. And they are also called the earthquake fish because back in 2011, you might remember the devastating tsunami that struck. There were 20 of these fish that washed up on Japan's shore the month before that giant tsunami. So just saying, this is now the second oarfish that's washed up in California. So California cuties, maybe pack your bags.
I hear you can buy a house in Italy for $1.
Or 50,000. Depends.
If you want a wall.
So that's number one of just weird things in the ocean. Number two, the Pentagon has now released its annual reports on UFO sightings, or now they're not calling them UFOs, they're calling them UAPs. And then on Wednesday, Congress had a bunch of leaders in the field join a hearing called UAPs Exposing the Truth. And the meeting included testimony from several witnesses who voiced their concerns about the unexplained objects possibly violating U.S. airspace, because there's been reports of planes over the ocean like having to like swerve around these things.
Who said all this? Meghan Trainor?
Well, Megan the Stallion started it.
Oh.
But Lauren Boebert finished it. And this is where I do always need to check myself, because I was all in looking at these reports because legislators are calling for more transparency on the issues. One of the witnesses was the former head of one of these like top secret DoD programs that gathered information on the unidentified objects. Another was a senior official from NASA who said we need to get more information so that it could be studied in a scientific fashion. There was a Navy guy who was talking about the things he's seen in the ocean when he's been out there. So I was in full tinfoil hat alien mode until I reached a Vanity Fair article titled, "Lauren Boebert told Congress she's worried about space aliens operating from underwater bases." And then it goes on to say the theater enthusiast also threw in her suspicions about birds, the moon landing, and a secret government project to create hybrid humans. Has she heard about the Denver airport? So this is where I once again need to check myself with my conspiracy theories, because do I believe that there are aliens? Yes. But am I prone to going full QAnon if left unchecked? Perhaps also yes.
I am afraid of aliens. I'm not afraid of the ocean, though. And that's where their home is. You know that from Cloverfield. So this does make me have bubble guts.
The scaredy cat in you and the Pisces in you are grappling.
Fighting. Yes.
Yeah.
But the theater kid in me, speaking of Lauren Boebert, when Beetlejuice comes to DC, let's go see it.
And suck each other off.
Maybe there's someone cute in the cast I can disappear with a little bit and go to the Denver airport.
Yeah.
I wonder how big those bathrooms are. Wait, what's at the Denver airport?
Oh, you don't even want to get me started on the Denver
Aliens?
airport. In all disaster movies, you know how they always have like underground bunkers for like the politicians and, you know, whoever wins the lottery system. And usually it's in the mountains somewhere. So people speculate that under the Denver airport is like the secret bunker for like if something were to happen, like a nuclear attack, you could go under the airport. Because there are, if you look at the blueprints, see, this is the problem, cuties. I can't be on certain places in TikTok, and I can't talk about this too long, or else I will quickly become Kristen Cavallari, anti-vaccine queen with a IV drip talking about Kanye being a clone. But if you look at the blueprint of the Denver airport, there are certain hallways that don't really like match up to what it looks like. So they are saying secret like passages and stuff to get underneath to where like the true operation lies.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about lately. What's your headline this week?
I'm still going to talk about Wicked. So Cynthia Bailey, not Cynthia Bailey, Cynthia Erivo. Imagine Cynthia Bailey in Wicked. Child, I'm defying gravity. So Cynthia Erivo, was on Armchair Expert. And maybe you've seen from her interviews, her nails are very long. They were when I met her and walked her to her car as well. But her nails are very long. And Dak Shepard asked if she can wipe her ass with those nails.
Of course he did. Of course he did, because why wouldn't he?
I mean, I wouldn't have asked if she was a guest. And she did say, like, I knew this was coming. But I would have wondered. I can barely wipe my ass without nails.
Well, we know you can't wipe your ass. I've tried to teach you on this very podcast.
I know. And coworkers have tried to teach me when they heard the podcast. My body doesn't bend that way.
All bodies are different, Donnie, and it's important to respect yours. But yeah. I always just think it's a weird line of questioning, because do you want the real answer? Like, what would you do if she said no?
Well,
if she said, like, no, I've just got a few dingleberries back there, Dax.
I think if we had a guest, Chelsea, and I asked a guest of the biggest movie this year, if we had Denzel Washington on to talk about that gay kiss, and I said, do you wipe your ass? He said, no, not really. And that's why they had to cut the scene, because someone ate me out and there's poop on his tongue.
Came away with a brown goatee.
I would be thrilled that was a breakout on our podcast.
Yeah, but I think the difference between our podcast and what Armchair Expert pretends to be is that we are claiming that we are not CNN, we are shit in the streets. Dak Shepard pretends to be an interviewer. So I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to he needs to either walk the walk and talk the talk of being a professional, in air quotes, or just admit to the world that he is also a king of chaos.
I mean, he started on Punk'd, for Christ's sake. We should know this.
Yeah, but him and Kristen Bell have tricked people.
God bless.
They put out that crying sloth video on Ellen and nobody looked back since. That's the bad place.
She does wipe her ass, though. And she said, like, of course. She said, you just use more tissue than normal to, like, make sure it's covered. And she's like, but when you wipe your ass, it gets on the tissue anyway. She said, does it get on your fingers? And again, if she was on our podcast, I would have had to say sometimes.
Well, I can tell you something now. She's not coming on our podcast after hearing this. But that's the other thing, too, about that question is you wash your hands.
Right. I know I wash my butt differently than most cuties. This is what I do. Not wash, wipe. I wipe back to front. Just stick it through the hole on the toilet and slide it in. Then I keep doing that till I don't see brown anymore. Then I wash my hands. Then I sniff my fingers. If they still smell like poop, I wash them again. And then if I wash my hands 3 times and still smell poop, then I take some soap and put it in my nostrils because I think maybe the poop is in there instead.
The more you know. Once again, I am telling you that if you had a vagina, you would just stay in the hospital for a chronic UTI. So thank God you have a penis.
Thank God.
Thank God I'm a country boy. You know
I
that
should have
song?
sang that, yeah.
All right, well, on that happy note, let's crown the cutie of the week. It certainly wasn't that story. My cutie of the week is the Throne of Glass series, so I am still in my fairy porn era. I am currently doing a tandem read of the Empire of Storms book and the Tower of Dawn book because they take place in the same timeline, and I'm jumping back between characters. And I'm following, if you guys go to Between Pages and Friends on Instagram, I'm following their template of how to jump back and forth for the chapters. So that's what I have been doing. Along with thinking about aliens, I've been listening to my little fairy porn series, and I cannot wait to talk about this when I'm done with the series because these are the least hateable characters yet.
Wow. And you read 20 chapters yesterday, yes?
20 hours, Donnie. I listened to a book for 20 hours in 2 days. So that's where my brain has been. Speaking of not being alone with your thoughts for a single second.
And you understand that? If I listened to someone speak for 20 hours, I wouldn't know a word they said.
Well, you immerse yourself in the world.
So you don't do anything else when you listen to those 20 hours?
No, I'm like going for a walk. I'm doing the dishes. I'm cleaning up the house.
I wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. When I clean, I have to have my headphones on. Like Dr. Bald knows once the headphones are on, I'm going to be up and moving. It's like a start button for me. Like one time, all of a sudden, I found myself sitting on the couch scrolling Instagram, and I realized that the podcast I had listened to had turned off. And I'm like one of those animatronic Chuck E. Cheese characters. I turn back down until it's a birthday party.
Huh. Maybe I'll learn that one day.
Maybe. I would like to maybe just have you start by listening to me when I talk.
I listened to the alien stuff.
You did. I could tell. I could see the horror in your eyes.
That's 1 segment out of 3 that you got me for
Pretty
this
good.
week. Yeah. My cutie of the week is also someone who wrote a book. Kiki Palmer. Her book tour is happening now. If you are in a town, I was going to say, but that's still true. If you are in a town, check to see if she's coming where you live because she is on her book tour for Master of Me, her memoir. And I am seeing her today, the day we're filming. So I can't tell you how it is yet, but I did manage to finagle myself in the 5th row. So it will be very good.
That's exciting.
At the legendary Apollo Theater.
Marvelous.
Yeah. Can't
Where
wait.
Marcy X perhaps performed her famous rap.
Michael Strahan is moderating, and I think he is the sexiest gap-toothed man in all of the land.
You're going to have yourself a day.
I really am. They're going to have to use that hook. Isn't that from the Apollo, that hook that they drag people out from? They're going to do that to me.
You'll be the first audience member that got the hook at the Apollo. Just drooling over Michael Strahan.
And that's that. So, cuties, thanks for everything. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. We will be here Monday to continue Wicked Week, where we'll be covering The Wizard of Oz. We will talk to you later. Love you like a sister.
Bye.